Hello, good people of YouTube. Today is Tuesday, September 1st, 2015, and I'm your host, Wolf Tiger. And yes, it is that time. The time for another outstanding episode of
The Things That Make You Go,
The series that takes an editorial and sarcastic look at the realm of video games and technology. Get to the chopper!
So what's the topic for today? Well, over the weekend, the YouTube community exploded. I mean, utterly exploded on one person. Who is it? Comedian Jimmy Kimmel. That's right, a comedian, because he made jokes about watching video games on YouTube and said how he doesn't understand it and just made jokes about it. Yep, that's right. People got absolutely upset, livid, and even made death threats because a comedian made jokes about watching video game videos. Let me get you more details on this story. From GameSpot.com, as part of a recent monologue about YouTube gaming, comedian late-night host Jimmy Kimmel joked that watching people play video games makes no sense. The video was swiftly ripped apart by commenters and now has become the most disliked video out of thousands in the history of Jimmy Kimmel Live. Right now, the video has close to 60,000 dislikes and about 5,000 likes. Kimmel has now responded to what he calls an avalanche of backlash about the video with a new video in which he highlights some of the comments he received about it. Some people attacked not only Kimmel but also his wife and daughter. Some people wished cancer on the comedian. When the video went live last week, many quickly attacked Kimmel's argument by saying watching people do things is already commonplace and accepted in society. Kimmel doesn't disagree but says watching people play video games is a further abstraction than watching traditional sports. Watching people play video games isn't like watching people play football, he said. It's like watching people play fantasy football. It's one more step removed from human activity. So there you have it, our wonderful YouTube community with a history of attacking people, exploding about topics, has found another target. Why? Because a comedian actually had the gall to make fun of watching people play video games on videos and YouTube. I know, that's just so terrible, isn't it? It's so wretched to think somebody outside just wouldn't understand why we watch other people play video games. Oh wait, it's really not that terrible. Why? Because he's a comedian. He is paid to get an emotional response either from people laughing or getting upset about a topic. He'll do it left and right because that's what comedians do. They don't just want to make people happy, they want to get a rise out of people around them. They want an emotional response. No reaction, no laughs. That's the whole point of comedy, getting that reaction. If he gets no reaction, then the joke wasn't very good and the topic wasn't worth talking about. It's not just video games. You'll find comedians trying to poke fun at just about everything. It's just part of life. And while it may not be totally true, there is a grain of truth mixed in there. That's just how comedy is. So to get upset about a comedian making fun of video games just doesn't make sense. Why? Because you just gave the guy what he wanted, a reaction. And besides, it's no different than the people who get upset about which political party they're in, which car they drive, because a comedian makes a joke about it. I mean, honestly, what kind of foot are we trying to put forward if the first time somebody actually makes a joke about something we like, a hobby we like, that we get upset? Not a very good foot. So, to all the people out there who got really upset about Jimmy Kimmel making that joke, just take a deep breath and relax. It's not that big a deal. He's a comedian. It's not like he's somebody majorly important that everybody needs to know what his opinion is about. It's his job to get a rise out of people. So, the fact that he's talking about video games, take that as a positive. He's thinking about it, other people are thinking about it. They know video games are a big deal. But in the end, it's just my opinion, and I'm one guy in the sea of YouTube. And there's a lot of other people out there with bigger opinions. as always, we'll keep our eyes open and see what happens next. That's all for now. Peace out.